Coming up on this bonus episode of the podcast, we interview newly appointed content creator for Siilinjärven Pesis, Juha Leskinen. Hello and welcome to a very special bonus episode of the Superpesis Roundup podcast, an interview with Juha Leskinen, who has recently been appointed as a content creator for Siilinjärven Pesis. Juha is 28 years old. He currently lives in Varkaus in the region. He's photographed a lot of different sports in the area, spent last year with Kuopio football team. He is talking about some very exciting content coming up in the future for Siilinjärven Pesis. Juha Leskinen joining me now on the podcast. It's great to have you here. You've just joined Siilinjärven Pesis as a content creator, is that right?
Yeah, I started actually, we were doing the whole contract like it's Monday, so this is my first official week now with SiiPe, and
oh right,
and of course I was so yeah.
And before this, you've I've seen from the news article from the team's website that you are a photographer. You've taken a lot of photographs of various different sports. Is that right?
Yes, that's right, and I've been traveling around Finland and photographing sports, football, bandy, ice hockey, you name it. I have been there, and so that's like my background with the whole thing. And SiiPe has been following me, and they decided that dude might be perfect for our stuff, what we would like to do. So yeah, that's pretty much my background.
Fantastic. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about the team itself, because obviously one of the things that I've been focusing on the blog recently is articles to help people get to know the teams that are in Superpesis at the moment, to try and figure out who they should support. I follow a lot of different teams around the world on different things, but Paspalo is my number one sport. I love it. I can't say enough good things about it. But I wanted to ask you first whether you follow any other sports around the world, or whether you follow any other teams around the world.
Yeah, well, at the moment I actually pretty much follow my special field is around bandy. So that's like, and actually it originated from England back in I don't know, like several hundreds years ago. It's like really old game. So that's like my special field is in bandy, and of course I follow football around the world. I mean soccer. I need to correct that because but yeah, I follow that also around the world, and yeah, I can say that. Well, of course, Formula F1 I follow, of course, because we have Kimi Räikkönen.
And yes, and Mika Häkkinen before him
yeah,
as well.
Of course, yeah, we all remember songs about Mika Häkkinen back in the days. It was pure magic to watch, like a little kid watching Michael Schumacher and Mika Häkkinen battling. It was, we will never get those days back. It's nice to watch them again, some videos. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So, and of course, I have been following a little bit about baseball. Of course, I'm interested in several sports, and baseball is kind of like easy to go and follow because it reminds Paspalo, of course. been following that a little bit. I don't know the teams or anything, but I've been just watching some YouTube clips and like highlights and stuff. So yeah, and NFL a little bit, but I don't know. American football is too confusing for me. So but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Well, going back to what you said about bandy, what you're talking about resonates a lot with me. It makes a lot of sense. My family heritage is from Scotland, and they play a sport called shinty, but when it used to be played on ice, they called it bandy. So I can understand, and it is literally. I've watched bandy, and I'm like, yeah, this is shinty. It's almost identical. So it's great to see the way sport links between different countries and the way that ideas flow around different countries. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about some of the teams. You've mentioned football, soccer. Is there any particular teams that you have become a fan of, or you cheer on?
Do you mean like from outside of Finland or in Finland?
Yes, from outside of Finland.
Outside of Finland, I must say that I've been actually now becoming a big fan of Sunderland because of the Netflix series.
Okay.
And I've been also following, of course, Norwich because of Teemu Pukki. It's huge part because why I follow Norwich. And maybe from Sweden, I must say I like Hammarby a bit because of bandy. They have bandy and football and everything. So Hammarby, and I know the photographer from there. So Hammarby has been like something that I've been a little bit following. But yeah, I think those are like my main three, if I need to say.
Well, my blog posts were really talking about lots of different ways that people become interested in different teams and follow them. I always find it's so much more exciting to watch a game if you can attach yourself to a team. You can really throw your support behind them. Having said that, I find Paspalo so fascinating to watch that every game I'm just hooked. I'm really fixated. I'm just like, yeah, come on. Much of my reviews that I do on games for the blog, because of my busy work life and family life or whatever, is in the middle of the night. So I'm like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning watching intently these things on Ruutu. So it's really great. But it's really interesting what you say. Sunderland, the Netflix series that you're talking about, and links with different sports or particular players or people who you either know or you know of, linked to different places. And it's those kind of things that perhaps I didn't touch so much on in the blog posts I've written, but it's a really interesting angle. So most of the people who are coming new to Paspalo from outside of Finland probably don't know, first of all, where Siilinjärvi is, or how to pronounce it even. So
yeah.
But it's I've tried to kind of encapture some of these things in the blog posts I've been writing. A little bit about the town, a little bit about the team, and things like that. But could you tell us a little bit about the Siilinjärvi area?
Well, Siilinjärvi area, of course, it's easier to say if you say just like it's a little bit up north of Kuopio, because of course Kuopio is easier it's bigger city, and it's the biggest city in the Savonia area, and it's like the main capital here, like sort of main capital here. So it's easier to say that go a little bit north about Kuopio and you go to Siilinjärvi. But about Siilinjärvi itself, it's little bit like in the mixed field because there is Kuopio, of course, big city, and then when you go little bit like away from little bit up north and to the east of Siilinjärvi, you go to Tahko, which is like very well known skiing city, and there is like the whole Tahko area. So it's like in the middle of those two. So it falls in the middle of this weird area that like well what there is there anything at Siilinjärvi? Well, there is, of course, like normal stuff, and there is a swimming place where you can go called Fontanella, which is like well known in the area of Siilinjärvi, and people go there because like it's a little bit bigger than what you can see at Kuopio, for example. They don't have such a huge indoor swimming place that Fontanella is. So it's those kind of things are like making Siilinjärvi bit well known. Like if you need to try to think something that what makes Siilinjärvi little bit different, or what you need to say if you would like to say people like what there is. Of course, then Paspalo is big thing. Yeah, but it's very like the nature is very same with everything rest of the Savonia area, because it's forests and hills and a lot of nature surrounding. So yeah, if you and of course there is a golf field also called Tarina Golf, which is like also one bigger thing than, for example, Kuopio don't have a golf fields or anything. So those kind of like little things are something that like separates the Siilinjärvi rest of the area. So they have something that others don't have, but of course it's other way around, of course, also. So yeah, so yeah, that's about it. And Tarina Golf has also like many of charity golf, what do you call them, like games, and there are like famous NHL people from Finland are playing there and so on. So that brings some like some headlines from Siilinjärvi time to time.
Well, you mentioned that Paspalo is big in the Siilinjärvi area, and one of the things I found when I was researching the team was that the area actually, some years back now, 2012 to 13, but it actually had more licenses issued by the Paspalo Lito than any other region. So it's a really big thing for people to go out and play.
Yeah,
from young kids right the way through to the professionals. So it obviously means a lot.
It is like Siilinjärvi. You can say that Siilinjärvi is like Paspalo city, of course. Like there is no other city, at least in Savonia area, that has so much impact from Paspalo to the kids of Kuopio. Has like ice hockey, of course, it's a huge thing, and football and so on. But Paspalo is the thing in Siilinjärvi. Of course, the facilities and so on are not like, if you compare to Kuopio, for example, they don't have like actual stadium or anything, but still there are like it doesn't matter that they don't have a stadium or anything, because people want to play there. When they're born to Siilinjärvi, they want to play Paspalo because it's there. It's always there. Like there is nothing else to do. Like, well, of course there is everything else to do, but like Paspalo is so huge thing, so it's so natural to go to that part and go and start playing Paspalo.
It's really interesting. You say it's just almost like a natural thing for people to do. That's the kind of sport and the kind of thing you go through. I was brought up in the north of England, and my dad is a really big cricket fan. I don't know if you know much about cricket at all, but
little bit.
Cricket Finland are a great resource and a great friend to the podcast. So have some fun chats with them about cricket. But my dad wasn't really much of a football kind of soccer fan, but he was really into his cricket and really liked to watch baseball on the TV as well. So it became a really easy progression for me from cricket to baseball to Paspalo. But when I was growing up, there was just so many different sports and so many different things on offer where I used to live. There wasn't really any, this is the big thing. This is what people do. This is what everybody really kind of lives for in the community. So it's really interesting to hear that about Siilinjärvi. Talking about the team itself, I watched last season and I found the relegation or elimination series when they were fighting to retain their spot in Superpesis as exciting, if not slightly more so, than the playoff spots at the other end of the table. I felt that kind of energy that SiiPe brought to the games, and I thought it was a really, really good series. Well, 2 series, because of course it was Siilinjärvi first. The team itself, they really kind of brought a little bit of magic, a little spark to it, and I'm really interested to see how they will get on when we get the 2020 season undergo. But what does the team mean to you? What are the kind of characteristics, do you think?
Well, this is like, of course, SiiPe is very new to me because I have been in other sports, and actually I ended my last sports season and my last so-called job. I ended actually with Kuopion Palloseura KuPS, which is now the current champion at the highest league in football in Finland, and I was their photographer, and I was in their train last season, so I was living a little bit different story at the moment because I went through with the whole championship and so on, and in the side I was watching SiiPe try to hold on with their highest league play, so it was pretty funny to watch. In the other hand, I was photographing to this champion team, and in the other hand I'm watching this other team trying to survive. So but what I think about SiiPe and what I think about what it means to me, it's of course SiiPe is a traditional team here, and they have there is history and there is a lot of stuff happening. So I was really trying to be careful that in the way that I actually wanted to know about the SiiPe history, and of course there has been some not so good things happening in several ways, and I was trying to learn those things, so I won't be stepping out any toes when I start at SiiPe. But what I try to say that SiiPe means to me they're a very unique Paspalo club in Finland, because they are not like anything else in the way. There is the Savonia culture and a little bit the people are not the same like any others. They are not basic some other Savonia areas. Of course, we are known to be a little bit our thinking in life is a little bit not the usual. So there is a lot of foxy ways how we think about the game, and we like to mix the pack and to do stuff that no one else is what are you doing? So that thinking and that kind of style, SiiPe has the unique style, and we are not trying to put more for the graphical side and so on. We try to be simple and different than anything else. So yeah, I like the uniqueness of SiiPe, and yeah, it's definitely something that you don't see in any other team if you look the Superpesis. So yeah, that's about my answer.
Well, it makes a lot of sense to me. Some of the teams that I've followed in different sports around the world, the thing that's really twigged with me, or the thing that's really kind of connected with me, has been the style of play, the kind of trying to outthink, outsmart, do things that may be slightly risky, or maybe slightly thinking, as we say in the UK, outside of the box, something a bit unusual, something that nobody else is expecting. And it's those things that can be really, really exciting. So it's really interesting to hear from your perspective, having come from the area and knowing the team as you do. I would say, how have you found working with the team so far? But we're currently recording this whilst the coronavirus pandemic is ongoing, so things are not normal around the world at the moment. But also, you mentioned that you've only managed to sort out the contracts and things and everything starting as of this week, so it's probably a bit premature to ask you what it's like working with the team. But what's your first impression been so far?
Well, I must say that, of course, it's pretty premature to ask, but of course, I can say already about these 2 weeks that I've been being with SiiPe, and I must say that the team has been very welcome to me to the SiiPe, and every people started to follow me on social media, and it's very everybody is yeah, we want to welcome this new guy to SiiPe, and of course the overall feeling when I went to the SiiPe office and everything, there is they have new office now, and there is new stuff in the office happening, so you can see the way their SiiPe is going. They are thinking forwards and they are thinking the future, and that is what I really liked it about SiiPe, that they of course the situation now, it is what it is, but it's very important, of course, think about the future in the long shot. So that is very, very big thing to me, because I was in the situation that I wanted actually to take some bigger challenges to myself and try to evolve my knowledge of sports and sports photography and content creating stuff and so on. So the approaching from SiiPe was pretty perfect timing, considering, of course, the time we are now handling. but yeah, I'm very welcome to the team, and everybody is talking, and we actually have now some plans to do some sauna nights and so on. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, the future.
Of course. And one of the things you mentioned, and obviously one key aspect of the role that you have with the team, is to do with social media. How big do you think social media is for teams, especially at the moment when there aren't games being played? We've had a delay to the season. People can't interact in the same ways that they used to.
Well, at the moment, actually, we have plenty of stuff coming. so we have some old games are coming with some. We have same things, but Sotkamo Jymy did old games and with fresh interviews in the game. So we actually have the same kind of things coming. We have a couple from 95. There is some game is coming, and I was actually interviewing players that played in that exact game. So we are jumping in when there is a pause and everything in the game, we are going to the interview and I'm asking about the players, how you're doing in 2020 and what kind of memories you had from the 95. And so yeah, there is that kind of stuff is coming, and also we are launching next week, I think maybe next week, we are launching this home exercise thing. We are going to do some live stuff, the coaches are now actually at the moment are planning what they're going to do in the live shows. We are putting into the Twitter, Facebook. We are still searching for the right platform to put out them, and then we have also pre-recorded stuff that we are going to give people. They can watch it and they can do the exercises at home or wherever within safe distances to others and so on. So yeah, we have plenty of good things coming, and of course it's important to put some material out for the people, because at the moment we don't have any games. We need to still wait about 1 month actually. Yeah,
that's right. And everything you've mentioned there sounds fantastic. I'm really excited to see the content that will be coming out soon. Thank you very much, Juha, for joining me for this interview on the podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure. Kiitos paljon. I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Yeah, we will see you soon. Yeah, thank you.
If you want to know more about Siilinjärven Pesis, then check out our blogs on who you should support, or for information in Finnish, visit SiiPe.fi. That's SiiPe.fi. Thank you for listening.